Connor. How are you? Good. This afternoon to Ryan's funeral home, where we will celebrate the life of Susan Gloster. Susan was adamant she didn't want a funeral. She wanted a celebration of life. She didn't want people to mourn her. Instead, she wanted people to wear bright colours, smile, and remember and celebrate a life well lived. Today was planned with so much love by her family and Susan herself. Susan chose all the music that we will hear today. And the first song that we're going to hear, this woman knew how to get a party started, let's just say. So our first song now we're going to listen to.
Confused when you're close to me.
What a song to start a party, huh? I could see a lot of feet moving and hands clapping. Don't be afraid to sing and dance if you know the songs, because that's what she wanted. She wanted people to be here to celebrate her. So don't be afraid to get involved and feel the music, get up and dance. On behalf of Susan's family, I would like to extend their sincere gratitude for joining them here today to honour and celebrate her with them. Although this is a difficult time, we can find solace in the presence of family and friends who have come to give their support and pay their respects. Please find strength in one another, find comfort in the memories that you share, and let us come together to celebrate her. My name is Louise Duggan. I'm a funeral celebrant honoured to lead this celebration of life today and to be a voice for Susan's family on this very difficult time as they prepare to say farewell to their beloved mother, grandmother, sister, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, aunt, friend and neighbour. May I just ask if you do have a mobile phone that you just switch it on silent during the service, please. Thank you. I welcome you here to remember Susan with her beloved children, Colin and Ruth, Susan's adored grandchild, Lily, her son-in-law, Christian, her brothers, sisters, John and her aunt, Phil Bones, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, and extended family and friends. Today is a bitter-sweet day for the family as we take a walk through Susan's life and the life she led. It's a day for memories, a day that will be remembered for many reasons, but mainly, I hope, you remember this day as celebrating the life of a very special woman. A day in which you share some time with family and friends to pay your last respects and say both mentally and physically a sad farewell to a woman you were all so privileged to have known. Sadness is not only an emotion, you've all been touched by Susan's life in so many ways. So please remember her with kindness, with warmth, fond memories, with love and affection, but above all, with gratitude for what she brought to your lives. I know you might think I'm a bit mad saying we're here to celebrate somebody's life when really your hearts are aching, but I believe a life should be celebrated and not mourned. We celebrate the start of somebody's life, so why not honour their earthly journey? And as today, as we assemble under this roof, we are united by memories, laughter, tears, and the love you shared with Susan. I would like to invite Colin, Susan's son, to come forward to say a few words with us. Just make sure you speak into the microphone.
Well, I'm not a great speaker, but I want to say that Susan is dependable and charitable. And she wrote to God that God didn't that God didn't give her enough time. And I empathise because I'd been planning on helping her son-in-law celebrate his relationship with her by buying for him a book of mother-in-law jokes, and my cat, and so to remind him that one day she forgot to heat water, so she accidentally forced him to have a cold shower. And he never complains because he's such a pussy.
You won't be getting a drink later.
That's right. That's it.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you, Colin. That's not easy to do, so well done. So, Susan entered this world on the 27th of July, and she sadly left on the 15th of May, leaving a lot of heartache and sadness, but she left so many hearts full of love, gratitude, and memories. She was born to her parents and she was raised in Robinstown, just outside Kells, where she was the eldest of 10 in the Byrne household. Can you imagine what went on in that house of 10 kids? Colin and Ruth recall Susan telling them stories of her childhood, how she loved spending time in the garden with her dad, and when he took her to an aunt's house on a visit. The time she spent in the garden with her dad brought her so much joy that she continued to do this throughout her life. She described gardening as a keeping her soul and calm, tranquil, and great for her mental health. Susan worked in the custom house where she met John. They got married, and when they welcomed their first child, Colin, she gave up her career to raise him. Colin was demoted from being an only child with the arrival of Ruth, and Susan's new role and career was raising both her children. When the children got older, Susan decided that her job was done raising them and it was time for her to return to the workforce. She liked to keep herself educated and really enjoyed learning, and she loved a night course. Susan wasn't very artistic, but she was creative with her hands, and I witnessed some of that beautiful embroidery yesterday when I visited Ruth and Colin. She liked spending her time writing and also took up calligraphy, but gardening was her all-time favourite. It made her soul sing. Unfortunately, when the children were teenagers, Susan was diagnosed with ME, but she didn't let that chronic fatigue stop her, and she educated herself in alternative medicine and kept her health her priority. She researched natural and herbal remedies. She enjoyed the old Reiki session and regular visits to the chiropractor. She wasn't a very religious woman, but she was a spiritual woman. Her happy place was in the healing house in Fisborough, where she surrounded herself with like-minded people. It held a special place in Susan's heart. It wasn't just somewhere to go, it was her haven. And she met so many special friends there. Susan was a woman after my own heart, and she liked to look good. And I must say, I've seen many corpses, and when I came in today and seen Susan, I was like, wow, she's the best looking corpse I've ever seen. So even afterwards, she still looked well, so well done. She always had her makeup on and ready for the day ahead. She didn't follow fashion trend, but she knew what suited her body and her body shape, and she had her own style. She liked getting value for money and keeping her eyes out for bargains. Ruth commented on how well her clothes were kept in her wardrobe when she was going through it this week. She even educated herself on different wines and the regions they came from. She knew so much about wines that she could have been a sommelier. I was told that going out for dinner with Susan could sometimes be a nightmare, with Susan asking 101 questions about the wine and where it came from. But she did have one rule. When you're out, you drink house wine. And when at home, you drink the good wine. So she had a lot of sense as well as style. In 2022, Susan got a new hip, and she was a new woman, trying to keep herself fit and healthy. Only a few weeks ago, Ruth found a purple kettlebell in Susan's room. When Ruth asked her about it, Susan told her she'd been keeping a little secret and that she had taken up Pilates. It was the first time that Susan enjoyed participating in an exercise that kept her body active and her mind at ease. She was very proud of her 2 children and all their achievements. She was described to me as being the best mum, caring and loving. A mother who tried very hard to ensure her children had all they needed. And only when Ruth welcomed her beautiful little girl Lily into the world, she realised and understood everything her mother had done for her. She was always there for them, no matter what, and when they needed her. She was their biggest supporter. And when Ruth and Christian participated in an Ironman competition in Copenhagen, they had their own cheerleader, with Susan on the side of the road cheering them on. When Ruth and Christian announced that they were getting married, Susan got involved and went to so many wedding fairs. And every time she drove by Ballymagarvey House, she would ring Ruth to tell her that she'd passed the wedding venue and how it was looking. Susan believed in doing things right. And when it came to the wedding cake, she believed you had to have the traditional 3-tier wedding cake. So, as you can all imagine, she wasn't very pleased when Ruth informed her that she didn't want a traditional cake and that she had opted for Colin and Connie the Caterpillars' wedding cake from M&S. She wasn't impressed at all, but she still got in her car and drove to Newry to collect the cakes. That's the type of woman she was. She wasn't just their mum, she was their best friend. Although she was a great mum, she was an even better grandmam to Lily. She absolutely doted on her. When Ruth told her mum early on in her pregnancy, Susan told her, "You shouldn't be sharing that news so soon." But then in the next breath she said, "It's a new life, and it's always nice to bring a life into the world." Unfortunately, Lily was born during COVID, which prevented Susan from meeting her grandchild in person for the first 9 months of her life. But that didn't stop her seeing her. She kept in contact with Ruth during her maternity leave and got to see Lily on FaceTime, on videos all the time. Lily brought so much joy to Susan's life. She was always picking up things for her. And when Ruth would send pictures that Lily had painted home from nursery, Susan was so proud of them that she would frame them. I saw a photo yesterday of Susan cuddling Lily, and the photo radiated with love. I witnessed the love and joy in Susan's eyes as little Lily looked up at her. But that look was reflected on Lily's beautiful face when she looked up at her Granny Sue. We are now going to hear from a friend Susan met in the healing house, Gemma.
She has me in bits. And I'm not usually in bits.
That's okay.
You know.
That's all
But
right.
Susan, we know Susan for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, in and out of her life. And we spent last Monday with her, Eric and myself. and we had a lovely afternoon. And I wrote something about her, and I might be calling on you to read it, because I'm never this emotional. But I think it's the two sides of Susan. You had a Susan that came in and was grumpy, and you had Susan then that was full of joy and smile, and there was the two sides, but she always got over herself, and she had great capacity to get over herself. Okay. So I wrote this last night because this is the depths of her behind the Susan that we know out there.
Just take your time.
Our life is limited by our circumstances of family and place of time and of our birth. The smallness of our vision is captured in self-survival and caught in the density of the human trap. We weave our way through the difficulties, reacting sometimes out of our hurt and fear. It takes time to work it out, to do our best, even if it is not always understood by those around us. We are each a soul with a long history. Hidden in us is the weave of time. We are the result of the outcome with very little power outside the self, caught in the web of human evolution. But if we get through the barriers that keeps us blind, past the prison of the mind, we open up to understanding and get in touch with our inner soul. We break through the fear and see our truth. Susan, you arrived at that truth of you, to know your purpose in the twists and turns of love's understanding and true reflection back to power. Susan, you are not lost to us, for in your soul you are always there. You left us with your complete acceptance and your smile. Thank you for being you. It's hard to lose somebody that you've loved for so long and knew in depth and knew about her family in the nice things she'd say and the love she had. And her joy was Lily to come, so it's Susan, there you go. Her acceptance on that Monday, the last thing she said to us going out the door was, I don't want to linger. Oh. She said it's not good for anybody, and particularly Ruth coming backwards and forwards. So, Susan, we love you.
Thanks, Gemma. What beautiful words. Such a nice, I obviously didn't personally know her, but such lovely words there for your friend. Yeah. Just to shows that, she did accept what was going to happen. She didn't want to linger, and she was still thinking of her family in that time.
And she fully accepted it.
Yeah.
And fully understood why she had to go.
Yeah.
Our life is more than just human.
That's it.
And she understood that.
Yeah. It was beautiful. Thank you. We're going to listen to another song now so we can all catch our breath and push back the tears. So our second song that Susan has chose for today is It's a Wonderful World. So do feel free to sing along if you want to.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They're like much more than I ever knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
The time will come when memories will bring a smile to your face rather than a tear to your eye. And when you're faced with struggles of grief, remember, Susan is always with you, as grief only exists where love was created first. When we love someone, they become permanent in our lives even after they're gone. We remember how they told a joke, how they wore their hair, the smell of their perfume, their laugh, their voice, or even how they enter the room. Because when we lose someone, their spirit lives forever in our hearts. We can't hug them or see them with our eyes, but we still feel them in our hearts. The death of someone close to us reminds us of our own mortality. But we must remember that death is simply a part of nature and as natural as life itself, which comes with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And although it separates us from those we love, they live on in our hearts and in our memories. Unfortunately, we will all experience the pain Susan's family are experiencing today. But during this difficult time, I ask you all to be gentle and kind to each other and take each day as it comes, remembering that grief is the price we pay for love. And although you feel lost and empty, please know that the family and friends that have gone before her are there with open arms to welcome her home. To Susan, we say our last goodbyes, and though we part with heavy hearts, we find comfort in knowing that her spirit will live on in our thoughts, our stories, and in the love that you shared with her. We are going to now hear from Ruth, and she's going to share some words with us.
Just want to thank everybody for coming here today. My mum would tell me to speak slowly and to speak loudly, so here we go. I'll give it a go. My husband Christian said something yesterday that I'd not heard before, and it really resonated with me, and I know my mum would have loved it too. He said, "A funeral starts with fun," and he's right. None of us wanted to be here today, so certainly not my mum. She thought she was going to live to be 100 and often joked that she'd be the healthiest corpse in the grave.
She'd be the best looking.
She would be. But that was not to be. We didn't get much time to plan for today, but I know she'd want us to celebrate, to laugh, to cry, to smile, to love and share stories. When we got the news just 2 weeks ago, that it was time to start symptomatic care only. Okay. But she said, well, that's that. I hope I can be as courageous. Clearly can't. She is something to all of us here. A neighbour, a friend, a work colleague, an ex-wife, a sibling. But to me, she was my mum, and she was our Granny Sue. I'm not going to pretend she was perfect. She was human. And as many of you will know, we didn't always see eye to eye. But in recent years, I'm happy to say that we found our way. She was very private, and sometimes a bit of a mystery to me, and I'm sure to many of us here. She loved her garden, wine, her style, learning, and she loved to keep secrets. As we already know, it turns out a few weeks ago she'd taken up Pilates and sweaty Betty leggings. Who knew? She was very proud. Becoming Granny Sue gave her so much joy. Lily last night said she wanted to say, I love you and I miss you. And Lily very much wanted to come to Granny's party and see her shout. I am sad that Lily will grow up without Granny Sue. But I will ensure she lives on and Lily knows her granny. I may not be able to pass on her love of gardening, but I will tell Granny Sue, but I will tell Lily that Granny Sue taught me to forge your own path, even if it is sometimes difficult and lonely. To live your own life, not someone else's. To do what is right for you. My mum was very proud of all her hard work that she'd put into 21 Bourne Avenue in recent years. The solar panels, another surprise. She phoned me with her camera, trying to point up at the... anyways. She was looking forward to another 30 years of comfort in her own home, finally enjoying her life as it had not always been easy. And she wanted to do little bits of travel. We even had a trip planned for June with Christian Lily's Granny Annie, and we were going to Ile de Ré in France. Mum was going to cycle with us to the beach, and she was sad she hadn't cycled in Centre Parks last year. So I will teach Lily to live, not to wait, as time waits for no one. With that, I'm going to read a poem that I found in my mum's bedroom. A farewell. When I am gone, release me. Let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me in tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave to you my love. You could only guess how much you gave to me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown. But now it's time I travelled on alone. So grieve a while for me, if grieve you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part. So bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away. For life goes on, so if you need me, call, and I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I'll be near. And if you listen with your heart, you'll hear all my love around you, soft and clear. And then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and a welcome home.
As I explained earlier, Susan had her own input into today. When she knew her journey on this earth was nearing its end, she wrote notes for Ruth. She told Ruth she wanted me to read these words out on her behalf. Courage has been so important. I always felt it was my middle name. I couldn't have faced so many adversities in my life without it. My life's work has been about opening people's eyes to understand that life in its vastness of the soul and not in the limitations of this earth. There are other special souls on this journey with me. Beautiful words. We're going to listen to our third song now that Susan picked, and this one, it's a lovely song. That was one of her favourite songs and her way to say goodbye. Yeah. On behalf of everyone here today, I would like to take a minute to speak to Susan and offer her a blessing. Susan, no one here wants to see you go. As we sit here with aching hearts, but with big smiles as we remember all the great memories we created together. We want to thank you for your love, your support, your guidance, and all the fun and laughter you showed us during your life. You have earned a well-deserved rest. We hope you have a safe journey across the calmest of seas, with the breeze on your back and the sun on your face as you head to a destination of your own choice. We bid farewell to you with love and gratitude. May you send strength to all whom you love and give them comfort and peace in the days ahead. May your spirit find eternal peace, and may your memory forever be a blessing in their lives. May you rest in peace. Amen. As we gather here as family and friends to bid a final farewell to a woman you were all so privileged to have known, this moment marks the end of her earthly journey and the beginning of her eternal rest. And as we prepare to release Susan into the care of the elements, let us remember that her essence will forever remain a part of your lives. Her memory will be a guiding light, reminding you to live with kindness, compassion, and gratitude. So here, in this final act, in sorrow but without fear, I gently yield the body of Susan Gloster to its end with nature. Susan, it is because of the life you led, the choices you have made, the love you have shown and been given, the life gift you have bestowed, and the fun that you have had, that those gathered here in your honour to say goodbye can let you go to your final resting place. On behalf of Susan's family, I would like to thank you again for your presence here today to celebrate her life. It's greatly appreciated. There is a few people that I'd like to thank. Firstly, I would like to thank Anne Kavanagh, Anne McGee, Maureen Coggins, Trish Kavanagh, Rosemary Conway, Louise and Claire. Susan had left in her notes that she wanted to thank you all for your friendship throughout the years, but especially in the last few weeks, for all the advice, guidance and love you showed her. Your friendship meant the world to her. The family would like to thank Michael Ryan and his team here in Ryan's Funeral Home for the compassion, empathy and professionalism shown to them at this very difficult time. You made an extremely difficult task a little bit more bearable, and they are forever grateful. A special thanks to the doctors and nurses in St Vincent's ward in the Mater Hospital for the outstanding care and encouragement they provided Susan with for the last 5 weeks of her life. They would also like to thank the palliative care team in St Francis Hospice in Blanchardstown for their tireless efforts and the care they provided to Susan and her family in her time of need. They went above and beyond to ensure she was comfortable. She wasn't treated like a patient there. She was treated like a person, and the family is forever grateful for that. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ruth and Colin for sharing their memories of their mum with me and composing the final chapter in her life story. I'm honoured to have been given the opportunity to meet you and to be a part of this day, so thank you. They would also like to welcome you all back to the Pilo Hotel for some refreshments and to continue celebrating Susan's life with them. I like to end the ceremonies that I officiate with a poem. And this poem came to my mind when I heard how much Susan loved gardening. It's called My Mother Kept a Garden. My mother kept a garden of the heart. She planted all the good things that gave my life its start. She turned me into sunshine and encouraged me to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem. And when the winds and rain came, she protected me enough. but not too much, because she knew I needed to stand up strong and tough. Her constant good example always taught me right from wrong, markers for my pathway that will live a lifetime long. I am my mother's garden, I am her legacy, and I know today the love she shared will always live in me. As a final tribute to Susan, can I ask those of you who can stand to please stand as we listen to her final song, and Susan will leave here and go on to her next journey.
Inch by inch, row by row, how to make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain